σας βρήκαμε. And thank you for joining us on another great episode of Cooking with Greek People. Today we are truly cooking. We have some tremendous guests for you today. We have our new friend Toula
Vlahou.
We have our new friend Theodora.
Hi.
And we have your number one here, Yuli. And we are here today at the invitation of Toula, who created something truly remarkable. And it's this beautiful love poem, really, to her husband. And you're going to see it very shortly. We're going to publish this on YouTube and Facebook, and you'll be able to view it on your own. But right now we're here to talk to these wonderful people, this wonderful classically trained dancer, teacher, and the two actors that participated in dance and in oration in putting this beautiful piece of art together. So, Toula, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us too, all. I'm very happy to contact with all people all around the world and to say, make love to go and act against coronavirus.
Thank you. Those are terrific words to be spoken.
We must think and for each other to be all together and happy and beloved. That's hippies used to say, make love no war. So we make love again to go against all this war. That's what I want to say about this.
Oh, well, those are beautiful words. There's a sentiment, there's this beautiful sentiment that you put together, and I wanted to talk to you about it. Yeah. Θέλω να το είχα πιο κοντά. So, tell us a little bit about your life. You are a classically trained dancer.
Generally my life.
Well, I mean about your dance and about your art and about...
Well, once upon a time, I was a dancer. A classical dancer first, and later a modern dancer. Dance was a page of my life and I was a dancer because I wanted to communicate with people more and more and more, and very deep in the soul. So only dance can do this. Forgive my English, but I danced in many theaters, but the greatest experience was in the ancient theaters, because there you get not only the electric lights, but the lights of the sky, and that was a great experience. And then the other great experience was in prison, when I danced in prison, because the audience there also they want to contact with the life out of prison. Then when I stopped dancing, because the classical dancer in Greece, that is very difficult to have a classical career, We finished at about 40, when we are 40. Then I was, for 50 years, 50, I was a teacher. Good or bad, I don't know, but I loved my pupils, and I love young people, and what I gave to my pupils was to them was to continue the art of dance. The art of dance is not for the studios, it's for the stage. And I think I gave that to my pupils. She was my pupil, a dancer. She has had only 2 lessons with me now, and she's, but I feel her like she was my pupil. And continue?
Yeah, no, you can continue.
Now, at the end of my life, maybe, because I'm old enough, we had with my husband a very sad story last year with coronavirus. He died many times, my husband, but he lived at the end, after 3 months in the hospital, and 6 months more to be a human being again. We find it, and thank God, the great Greek doctors, he was alive, he's alive, and he not only walk again, but he wrote a book. After that, I wanted to express my feelings, and I beg you also to express your feelings, your deep feelings. I wanted to express my deep feeling when he was in the hospital. And these 2 girls came near to me, and we did a little video. She danced. She says she reads, and we give you all our feelings, and we hope you say your feelings right.
You know, that's lovely. What I wanted to kind of express to the audience was that what Toula did is one day her husband was diagnosed with the coronavirus. He was hospitalized. He was he had to go into the hospital, intensive care. He spent, I think, how many months did he spend there in intensive care?
In the hospital, 3 months.
3 months in the hospital, trying to recover from this horrible disease. And she put her experience into the artistic expression that she was most familiar with, which was dance and prose. And I was lucky enough to see this. Yes, I was lucky enough to see the accumulation of this with Yuli as the dancer and Theodora as the orator who spoke these written words that you had put into writing. I found it so beautiful and so moving because it was truly a love poem, I think, that you wrote. It was, I mean, it was very beautiful to listen to. And you, Theodore, just did a wonderful job in putting this together as well, because the three of you were able to really put so much emotion into this that just by viewing it casually and not even knowing what to expect, it really drew me in. And I mean, there were tears in my eyes as I was watching this because it was truly a love story that you were expressing.
We use I use arts of dance and theater because that is that the arts were born to express, to start to express things that only speaking is stops, finished. When the language finished, speak the words, then we start with the arts to go further.
Well, yeah, I see what you mean, because it wasn't a story you could just tell with words. It was a story that you had to tell with using all of the tools that you've honed over the course of your life and represented both in dance and in words. And that's what I found so compelling, is that I've read poems, I've read prose, but I've listened to it, but I've never seen an artistic expression like this. And it's like we live in such a strange time where, you know, our friends are disappearing from us, and there was like this beauty that tugs at the Greek spirit, I think, that you were able to kind of manifest here, because I felt like I was watching something that could have been done during the plague of antiquity, during Pericles' time, or during those times. It would have fit just as well there, and the dance and the prose and the movement and the spirituality that came out of it was just incredible.
Well, to live all these things, all this, that my husband lived, you have to be in another sky.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise you cannot bear all these things.
Right.
It's over logical life. So then you become, even if you are not an artist, you become an artist.
Oh,
Otherwise
yes.
you cannot live with this.
Theodora, let me talk to you for a moment. You really expressed in words what your friend here was feeling. How did you come to this? I don't even see how you kept from breaking down, because I was so moved just listening to you.
Well,
Και μπορείς να τα πεις στα ελληνικά αν θέλεις. Εντάξει.
βασικά δεν έχω πρόβλημα, απλά έχω να μιλήσω αγγλικά χρόνια.
Μπορεί να μιλήσεις εκεί.
Okay.
Yeah.
During reading, I was like, oh my god, what I'm gonna say now.
English.
And maybe it's because I suffered from COVID-19 also. So it was a bit easy for me to understand her.
I see.
I just tried to be her voice.
Well, you did a beautiful job. And Yuli, do you want I know you asked me not to ask you any questions, but I'm going to ask you a question anyways. So there, So I'm going to ask you a question. When you really had to interpret the emotions physically that your friend here of many years was experiencing, what was that like? How did that come about for you?
Well, I'm not a dancer. I just took some few lessons from her. It was very difficult for me because it was so emotional, and I felt the power of her emotions, and the responsibility was ήταν μεγάλη ευθύνη, δεν ξέρω πώς να το εκφράσω.
Θα το πεις ελληνικά, εντάξει, το είπες.
Αυτό.
Yeah, no, I saw,
To express her feelings.
you did a beautiful job of doing it. I feel like I was watching almost like an ancient Greek play at work.
Excuse me, but I told her one word that is the key of the whole dance, vibration. This is touch is the most important, this touch is the most important of all dance. Because that's what you feel when your husband is in 3 months in the hospital, and every day the doctor say, we don't know if he lives tomorrow. Then you just have this
feeling, yes. Well,
Julie understood that.
Well, you did a beautiful job. And you all did a beautiful job, and it was.
Thank you.
And
it was only for her.
Yeah. Well, you have. It looks like you have a couple of people that really love and care for you. So that's a wonderful way to live a life.
It's for all people, for all the world, because we're all brothers and sisters in a great family. What about the world? And what you live, then I live. And what I live, maybe you live. So the feelings are the same for all people.
Yeah.
That's what
Those are very true words. Is there you writing this work? You were writing this as you were as your husband was in the hospital, right? I mean, you were
No.
You wrote it afterwards?
Yes, I wrote it afterwards, but very, very.
But it dealt with all the emotions that you had experienced.
Yes.
Yes.
But very soon, because I could not, I didn't have the time, because I was 24 hours next to him when he came out of the hospital. But it was quite soon, because I could feel this, and I could bear to feel, because I wanted to be away. But maybe this is a way that you can take it out of you.
Right.
Just to. And also, and my husband with his book that he wrote, and myself by expressing my feelings in a different way, we did all this to first to thank God and doctors and the nurses everybody there in the hospital. And next, to try to say to all people around the world, be careful and have the vaccination too, because nobody else to live, we don't want nobody else to live what we lived. And believe me, you see death in with a very bad way. So,
We should listen to Toula.
so we want light, no darkness.
Well,
Please.
thank you, Toula. There's, I think we're going to wrap it up because it's there. I want people to watch the video and watch these three wonderful women who have put together such a beautiful and moving video. And we thank you and for sharing your experience with us, and we thank you, two ladies, as well for putting this into words and into dance and making it such a beautiful experience that it has been. So thank you, and thank you all out there for watching. Okay, bye now. Right in the middle. Yes, the lights. Yeah. Yeah, and we have with us George, who's Toula's husband, and he was in the hospital with COVID for 3 months, and he was really the inspiration for Toula to put together this beautiful video with dance and music and prose. And George, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience?
You have already covered me, and I suggest to all brothers of the world to be vaccinated, because it is better to die from a vaccine than COVID-19. I suffered for 3 months in the hospital, and thanks to the doctors and the nurses and all the people there, I am alive. I died 4 times in the hospital, and I survived thanks to the doctors of Greek doctors.
Well,
I have nothing to say more. I have written a book about my disease, and if you have time, you can read. You can read it. Our friend Babis will manage it. Thank you for listening to me.
thank you, George, for putting your thoughts into words. And this book, we will have a link to it as a PDF. You know, George is a writer, a very prolific writer, and he has put his experiences into a book. And we thank you for doing that, for sharing your what you went through. And thank you. What a lovely couple, and we loved having you on the show. And we really appreciate your openness and all of this, because it is something that millions of people are suffering through. So, thank you.
Thank you too.
All right.
And maybe some other people to write their stories, their experience of this.
Yes, and make sure you put in your comments and put in your thoughts, and and share them with people, because this is truly something that should be shared. All right. Thank you, everyone. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. I think that turned out okay.